Mario once again, and in this video I'm going to be showing a couple circuits here that are set up for navigation lights for RC airplanes. Some of these are the ones that I've been building for my 1S LiPo RC ultralights that I've been showing in some short segment videos. But in this video, what I wanted to capture is the difference between a circuit built with a particular chip and then the other one with a different chip. This one is a something new that well, it's not new because I've been building these for a while, but it's a new setup here to prove my point here. And my point is that this particular chip, the 4017, is a decade counter, and it's been set up, to mimic some um, navigation lights with some LEDs and some diodes, to double up on the pulses per LED, and so that is giving the strobe effect using those particular components. The This one right here uses a CD4060 IC chip, and it's basically with the external components that I'm using here. It's a much better setup because it really enhances the effect of the strobe here, and it's because I'm using capacitors and resistors, RC networks, to with the addition of transistor um, on each of these two channels that are doing the pulsing. So it's a much better compromise, in my opinion, than using that particular chip with an external oscillator. That 4017 does not have an internal oscillator as the 4060 does, so it requires a 555 timer or a pulse generator. In this case, I'm using this tool to generate the pulses, generate a 10 hertz pulse, to trigger that chip right there. But I can also use this circuit here. This is my 555 timer circuit that I use this on various circuit layouts. So I'm borrowing actually this one from that layout there. It's just to establish the pulse generation. But I forgot about this tool. That I had this tool, so I took it out and I go, maybe this has a function generator. Sure enough, it does. It's a very nice tool. If you don't have one of these tools, think about getting one, because it's a very useful tool. It does testing of the components. It does. It's got an oscilloscope, and it's got a function generator. Basically, the three areas where you are constantly employing when you are working with circuits and testing and breadboarding and doing this kind of work. So yeah, this video is basically just to capture the difference between that circuit and this circuit. And in my opinion, and hopefully this video will be able to show, is this is a much better effect here. With this, as far as the strobe is concerned, that kind of wants to be a strobe, but it's not a strobe because the LEDs are just sequencing on and off with a doubling up on the lighting scheme on certain LEDs to kind of give you the illusion that it's a strobe, but it's not a strobe. This is a true strobe right here. Um, and this can be also connected in various ways, to make it a little more realistic on the aircraft. These, like I said, are done for my smaller models. This one is actually going to go on a new 1S LiPo RC ultralight that I'm working on. And I did this number one because I have a bunch of these components. Yeah, some people may be wondering, why am I using these heavy components by today's standards? Where we have surface-mounted devices, and it's because I have a bunch of these things that I bought back in the early '80s. I used to go to these fairs, and people used to sell components, by them, in mass quantities. And I used to buy this in mass quantities just to work on projects. And to this day, I still have some of these components. For example, this one right here uses a PNP transistors, the 2013. So you probably won't find that 2013 these days, or they're hard to find because these are components from back in the day. But a transistor is a transistor. And depending how depending how you use that, provided you're not going to exceed the current limitations of that transistor, you can still use those. I mean, those things don't go out of style. So that's what I'm using here, and it's because I have these components, quite a bit of these things, and it's one way to make use of them without having to discard them or just let them sit on shelves, gathering dust. So that's the reason why I use those components. In fact, two of those transistors, the way I assemble this, are glued head to head here. Let's see if I can. Hopefully, my video will not shut off here. Turn on the light. So two of those transistors, as I was saying in this particular just flip-flop circuit, are glued head to head, and then I joined the emitter leads, which go to the hot end of the power supply. By the way, this is running on at 4 volts, which is the average voltage of a 1S LiPo, because it's designed for 1S LiPo airplanes. And then the base and the base. Let me look at my schematic here. The base, the base is okay. The base is sharing in a cross configuration with this potentiometer here. So we have the resistor, the resistive element there that's sharing between those two transistors, along with the capacitors that is required, to establish the flip-flop network or circuit there. So it's basically that you see there, that schematic right there that we're seeing in a just point to point, and as compact and clean as I could get this. This keeps it lightweight, and as I was saying, it allows me to make use of the components that otherwise would be sitting on my shelves. Well, basically, this is the strobe effect versus just having the lights on and off, which really don't do much. If you're trying to get some more realistic strobe effect, but you can use pretty much anything. It just depends on the user, and as the saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So and not everybody requires the same thing. Like in this case, I was saying, I don't require the full effect of the strobes. It's just a visual that I can guide myself, when I'm flying these things at night. But I really like these circuits here, and I've been favoring these, and that's the reason why I'm also doing these videos here. And I wanted to also showcase the difference between these other ones that don't use these additional components to establish that really nice strobe effect. Mario, once again, thanks for watching.